That's the moment the Party for Socialism and Liberation says was inaudible in the critical incident video showing the police shooting that killed Adam Sykes.
Today we tell Mike Brown and the ruling class that we won't be divided. We've seen these tricks before. Immigrants are not dangerous. Capitalism is.
Welcome to Naptown People's Radio, a weekly podcast brought to you by the Indianapolis branch of the Party for Socialism and Liberation. I'm your host, Danny Abdullah, and I'm joined by my comrade and co-host,
Derek Ford.
We're here to guide you through the pressing issues facing Indianapolis from the perspective of our people, not our oppressors. And as organizers involved in these issues, we're not just talking about the news, we're making it happen. So on today's episode, we're going to be hearing from Dr. Meleeka Clary, who is a clinical psychologist, a writer, director of her own film called 3 Corners of Deception. She is a paralegal. She's the host of Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. She's a friend of the center. And honestly, she's so much more. She's so many things. The Indie Liberation Center has been working with her for 2 years in a 16-year battle in which her ex-husband has been trying to steal her money by using the judicial system that is supposed to protect and serve. So Dr. Clary is going to be talking to us today about this ongoing battle, but also her plan to be on the defensive now. And so I'm super excited to hear about it, especially following, Women's History Month. Like, I think this is such a great way to continue talking about women, right? We don't just care about women in March. We always care about women. So I'm excited. But before we hear from Dr. Clary, we're going to hear from Dr. Ford and the Naptown Breakdown. So what's on this week, Derek?
So for this week's Naptown Breakdown, we have a couple of news stories and updates on old stories. So we'll start out with the first update, which is that Shaka A. Shakur has finally, after about 5 months, received a copy of his book, Manifestations of Thought, When the Dragon Comes, Selected Writings of Shaka A. Shakur, which was published by 1804 Books. If you recall, we had the book launch at the People's Forum in New York City in December, along with, we were joined by Leon Benson, Vernon T. Bateman, and Danny Abdullah, and myself. Now, after dealing with all of the basically attempts to stall him from retrieving and accessing his book, he finally received it, and he sent us a note that we want to read. It says, "Clenched fist salute. Well, comrades, I finally received a copy of my book. It took a while, but it finally made it through all of the extra, But it was definitely inspiring to see my own writing in book form, although I have been writing for decades. I tried to read it through the eyes of others and see what they could get out of it. It has inspired me to write more. I just want to thank 1804 Books, Derek, Brohaki, who did the preface, Wednesday, who helped to translate it into Mandarin, Tessa, who helped with the copy editing and proofreading, the Indie Liberation Center folks, and those who helped to promote it, along with the folks who allowed us to use the People's Forum to launch it. Once again, thank you for the love, support, and solidarity, Shaka A. Shakur." Now, the other update has to do with a phones app that we just launched and that you heard about on last week's episode concerning an inmate at Miami Correctional Facility who, along with dozens of others, has been unable to move from his bed for months because the Hoyer lift has been broken and they refused to do anything about it. So I did receive an update today. This does not mean that the phones app is off. The phones app is absolutely still on. However, we did receive word from the ombudsman that they're going to be going to Miami this week to speak with the authorities there and to try to get the inmates the medical treatment that they actually need. And so hopefully we'll be hearing from Danny on the next episode that is all settled. And then finally we have, breaking news actually, which came out today, Tuesday, March 31st, when we're recording this, which has to do with an incident that occurred a little while back and involved an unfortunate death and an arrest and somebody else getting off scot-free. So basically, what happened was a man named Jamar Thomas died last week. He was getting treatment at Eskenazi Hospital for a gunshot wound to his stomach. He was in police custody at the time of his death. What's interesting about this is that the police arrested Lamonte Thomas and did not arrest the actual shooter, the person who shot the victim, who later died, Jamar. Right. And in fact, they have not disclosed his name. It is not in the media yet. The IMPD's narrative is basically entirely dependent upon the killer's testimony, right? His affidavit, whatever his testimony to the police. And so meanwhile, Lamonte is still locked up. So we sent out a press release yesterday, which is what helped to get this counter narrative out, because basically what happened was like Lamonte Thomas was trying to prevent somebody from shooting other people because he was, kind of wilding out and, saying things like, you're all going to die or whatever. And so they arrested Lamonte, who was trying to stop this man. And then they're protecting this man and taking his word to keep Lamonte locked up. And so we are going to be having a press conference with the family at the Indianapolis Liberation Center this Thursday at 6 p.m., where you can, find out the truth. In other words, find out what the cops are lying about. This just goes to show the importance of independent media, because unfortunately, we understand the constraints, but the mainstream media, they just take the cops' word for it. And it wasn't until the family reached out to us, we got a press release out there that the other side of the story is finally on the news and will be, because we need to get justice for the victim and for Lamonte.
This case for the Thomas family just really reminds me of multiple cases that IMPD has just like not actually helped anyone. I know we sometimes go back and forth of like, oh, they're not actually doing their jobs, but like their job is to like uphold the system, right? And in this case, this is like I feel like this is like a weird case of like, I'm not even sure what I am curious to hear more from the family and what they have to say about their loved ones and the treatment of their loved ones. If I know anything, I know that IMPD and all cops lie, though. So like anything that they have to say, I am not going to be listening to. This is, a story as old as time of them just like lying or just not doing anything, right? This is like a tragedy.
It
right?
is.
A man is dead, who was literally trying to save lives, and now he's dead, and his nephew is in jail because they were trying to stop someone from killing people. If anything, we should shouldn't they get a medal or something? I don't know.
Yeah. It reminds me of, one of the cops, Eli McAllister, who withheld evidence from Leon Benson in his original trial, is now working for the FBI. Yes. So, March 18th, the IMPD sent out this thing. Oh, we're so proud of Major Eli McAllister of the Criminal Investigations Division, graduated from the FBI National Academy. Meanwhile, this is a guy who, literally withheld evidence, and it's newly discovered withheld evidence.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you get promoted when you do this kind of stuff.
Right. I mean, that's right. That is what the system does, right? Like, how can we do more to make sure those who are, not upholding the system can continue to fail and continue to do worse? Yeah, that's so disappointing. I'm really looking forward to hearing from the family on Thursday, and hopefully, listeners can come out and hear what they have to say and learn the truth. Yeah, because one of the great things I think about working with the Liberation Center, being a part of the party, is that we have been able to work with a lot of families in the city. And that's not great, because I hate that it's something that is necessary. But I enjoy working with those families and hearing from them and what they have to say and working to get their narrative out there, which is the truth. And also like IMPD is not even really good at lying either. Like they're actually like
Terrible.
really horrible at it.
Yeah.
Like it didn't take much for, Nikki Shumpert and our comrade Steven to like go and, get this audio of, IMPD literally saying that they were, kill Adam Sykes, right? Like
Yeah.
it didn't take anything for this family to like, for us to get in contact with this family and hear their side and like, yeah, we're on your side. Absolutely. That makes sense that IMPD lied. So hopefully people can come out, but if you're listening or if you know someone who is, in a situation with IMPD or any cops actually, that they're not telling the truth, come hit us up because we're on your side. We believe you. I don't even know you and I believe you, because this is systemic,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so come by during open hours, or you can always give us a call, 317-721-3789, or shoot us an email, info@indieliberationcenter.org. Yeah, and, Danny, that reminds me, like, it's, it's tragic, but it shows what we can do, a small group of people, what we can do when we get together and we stay committed and we stay disciplined to the struggle and the cause. And because they try to drag it out in court, the lawyers say, "Oh, don't talk about it publicly," which is not true.
Yep.
That's the best thing. Like these people, this entire system, as you'll hear from Meleeka Clary, Dr. Meleeka Clary is set up to protect like the real criminals.
Yeah.
And so so you can't have recourse to the criminal justice system that's set up to protect the criminals. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So we have to rely on each other and have a street-based movement, as well as fighting inside the courts.
Yeah. I mean, Prosecutor Ryan Mears has taught me that time and time again, that his job is actually to help the cops, not the people who voted him into office. And hearing Dr. Meleeka Clary's story and the updates that come is also a stark reminder of that. And every single victim of IMPD terror, even if they didn't pull the trigger themselves, they're terrorizing people, is a reminder of that. This system is all working together. There's so many cogs and so many different parts of it, all to uplift, one system, and that is capitalism. Yeah.
But that's what we're going to tear down here at the Liberation Center, all the Liberation Centers, all the progressive groups throughout the world. And that's these are the stories that we uplift on Naptown People's Radio. So after a short break, we will be right back. Joined by Dr. Meleeka Clary, who is a paralegal law professor for 15 years, a clinical psychologist, an actor, a director, not to mention the host of the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. And none of this is to also mention her many qualities as a human being and the excellent work that she does for our community, whether you know it or not. So welcome to the show, Dr. Clary.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a real honor to have you here. I wondered first if you could speak about the film that you directed and also acted in and wrote, and also that I believe won something like 86 or 87 awards and recognitions worldwide, including, just to give our listeners a sense of what the film's about and who you are, the Best Human Rights Director at the Toronto International Women's Film Festival, along with, of course, many others. So.
Yes. Well, thank you, Eunice. Oh, well, I have to say that I'm very pleased, and I really want to say thank you, God, because to get through a movie like Three Corners Deception took a lot of energy. It was about me and my situation and what I was going through. And it's hard to explain something that happened to me like 10 years or, well, maybe 15 years ago now.
Right.
But I'm going to do my best to brevity, okay?
I believe you can.
Well, it was, the movie is based on true events. It was about, girl meet boy, boy meet girl, falling in love, going to Vegas. And when you meet somebody, you're always pretending to be somebody else. Sometimes you're on vacation. That's the way life is. Your true colors don't come out until later. Well, that individual happened to be an attorney, and I was a college professor at that time. And it was a romance. I had a good time. But, we developed a relationship going forward, and it didn't turn out as good. Deception, deceit, was part of the relationship. Unfortunately, the only reason why I made that movie, it wasn't because of me falling in love with this person and I was just, oh my gosh, it was because the deception from judicial deception from the legal system.
Okay.
Because I ended up getting married to this individual and we had a child together. And the abuse of discretion that I received from the good old boy networks, lawyers and judges, his friends in Indiana, unfortunately. I'm from Boston, so I moved here. But I was treated really bad. And I've seen some stuff that I should never have seen. Now, I try to put that in a 2-hour, 19-minute movie. It's just not possible. But you will get the gist of it if you go ahead and watch the movie. Now, hey, it's still available on Prime Video, people.
Yeah.
So you can go watch Three Corners of Deception movie.
Yeah, and we've shown it here, and
Yes, you
with your blessing, we'd like to show it again this summer.
Yes. Oh,
spring.
absolutely. Absolutely.
We had a great turnout for it.
You know what? The movie, I will say that people, they could relate, and women or men could relate. Corruption is around, but you could relate when you're fighting the good old fight of custody and people use you as a mental target. And it was bad that I had to go through that. And it still exists, but we can go into all that. I'll bring that back.
Yeah, I mean, it's tragic. And we had somebody on the show, Matt Gunny, who right before his sentencing, the judge said, now, just to get it out there, something to the effect of, I played golf with the prosecuting attorney yesterday, but that isn't going to affect my judgment at all, okay? And then proceeded to sentence him. Like it was no big deal. So, I mean, It's just another example of, you're right.
Yes.
Like, what do you do? That's the law, So, yet you, despite this happening a long time ago, and I know that it wasn't one incident. It was, so can you speak more about the nature, with the nature and also the ongoing attacks and how you managed to persevere for so long? Because that's what's really incredible to me.
What is interesting is that I am a target because I speak out. And God is my hero. He's my everything. I wouldn't get through it if it wasn't for my belief mechanism. I will say that. Now, don't get me wrong. I am weak at times. And I tell them, look, give me some strength. But you got to work a little faster because they're doing things that's like I wouldn't believe. And what I have seen is because my voice became loud within the last 6 years, I want to say. I've been knocking down doors, getting rid of judges, and they have been embarrassed. But it's what they've been doing to me. I mean, yes, I take the beating. I appeal. That's the recourse. I appeal. I protest. I fight. I mention things in this movie was a big success, and to show the public and to show the bad lawyers that are doing things behind the scenes and think that they're never going to be exposed, to stop. Yeah. Stop it, because this person's not, they're not standing down. They're going to put you out there. They're going to write something about you. They're going to do this. And I see that going into courts, it doesn't help all the time, because I'll do be a pro se litigant, and they'll jump all over me, because when you don't have the finances all the time, you don't have the means to pay for attorneys, and they'll run that bill up and run that bill up. And then by the time you know it, you ain't got no money, you owe a bill, and then you need representation, and then you become vulnerable because you don't have any representation, but it's really because it costs too much. So I've learned as a paralegal that, you know what, let me do my paperwork. Let me do my motions. And so I fight against these lawyers that's doing things, and I call them out. Like, I give you an example. Like I told you, I'm still going through it. Like, for example, my ex-husband, we still going through it now. Still going through the stupid stuff. My ex-husband, attorney Jane Cotton, and I have to mention her because I said I would, because she did something that was illegal, and I don't understand why she think this was okay. And I'm very, very shocked of the things that I'm doing right now, and I'm finding the strength. And forgive me, not trying to cry, but I did lose a family member. Yes,
Yeah, I'm
recently, suddenly at that. And I'm going to tell you, on March 15, I had a gala. I went to the luxury gala. And it was something that's already been in the making. It's something I've been going to for the last 3 years. And on that day, me and my daughters and, my family, my niece and everything, we went. And we had a good time. But then I got this news that my sister had passed away. And it was sudden. Everyone's going to pass away. And if you don't take care of yourself, it becomes more clear to others. But not the way she did. She had a heart attack. I didn't think that was it. And I found that on the day that I'm celebrating me. This is where I became an actress, and how I felt that I need to, out of sight, out of mind, and I need to not focus. I went through that whole gala like it didn't happen, but it was because my mind didn't accept that I just lost my sister, my oldest sister at that, Lariana, and when, it was a sad moment for me, but not to know that that's what's going through my mind. After this gala, reality came back. I only went to this gala, literally the celebration, we only was in California for 2 days. And I'm a caregiver for my mother. So I had to get 4 people to try to help me take care of a job that I do around the clock. Right. Okay. But I end up doing it. This is what my mind is going through. So here you go. I go ahead and I'm at this gala. I find out this news. I come back to find out I asked a continuance. Judge was it William Byers, Mark Dooley, and Anderson, Madison County, because my case been changed from Hamilton long time ago because of abuse of discretion. Here I am
victory,
again.
right? Yeah.
Very victory. It was a good victory. But just to be in the same mess, because my ex-husband, attorney Michael Ghosh, ended up hiring an attorney in that area. Good old boy network. So that person knows the ropes. Here you go. It's not going nowhere, right? Yeah. Well, here, I put a motion to continue. Most people, because I had a loss in my family, most judges will give you a continuance. Well, not this judge. Because the girl, Jane Cotton, attorney Jane Cotton, filed a motion and petitioned and said, objection, because it's a child support and modification of child support. I put a modification a while back because I had to take care of my mom. So I left my job to take care of my mother. And I was like, okay. So you object for me to get a continuance, and I had a death in the family. They showed a picture that I was at the gala, at the luxury gala. Yes, it happened on the 15th. They put this I put a motion to continue on a Monday or something. I think Tuesday. They put their objection on a Wednesday. And they showed 2 pictures. One picture that I was going to be at award ceremony, and this picture was from a year ago, which actually is my sister Lariana's birthday. And then they showed a picture of me current, which was the gala itself, which was on that Sunday, was the screening of the Oscars viewing. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm like, wait a minute, objection for continuance with a death in the family? This judge denies the request.
Good.
I'm sitting. No. Right, no. He denied my request of the continuance
based on a picture of you from a year ago.
1 year ago, and then a picture from the Sunday gala. And here's the thing about it. They said that, well, she's in a gala, she can definitely go to court. We want to know the name of the sister, what sister's name, and which one, and when, so we can verify. I'm sitting here like, did not understand sudden, but it's okay, because this is what the scrutiny, this is what I go through. Okay, here we go. I thought the picture was great looking. Because that's my
Good.
first experience is, oh, wow, how did you get a picture
right.
like this? You know, I wasn't
copy
really
that.
caring what, I wasn't caring what you really was saying, but
Right.
I knew you was hurting. You wanted to hurt me. And I'm already hurting because my sister died on that day. I haven't even posted anything from the gala yet because I'm still going through the motions of celebrating my sister. Okay. And I've been interviewed since I've been back with different magazines and everything, but I've been talking about my sister, so there's things that's going to come out with her, about her. And I haven't really, I want to say, it just haven't hit me that my older sister has passed away. But I'm motivated because now I'm at rage with these people. And I have to say that I'm very disappointed. So with them doing that, after they did that, I filed a motion that continued was denied. I wanted to know where the picture. I couldn't get the picture myself because there was no pictures on site. Well, I demand them to give me the information and where the source.
But you have the right
Because
to.
I have the right to it. You free. You're showing my picture. Are you serious? You are showing my picture. I was about to say, you freaking showing my picture. I don't swear, so I try not to swear, to be honest. So I say freaking. I got these little words, so I'm about to was saying it. So I got these words that I, describe before I could say something. So people were like, what's she about to say? I'm not mispronouncing something. I'm doing it on purpose. I'm trying not to swear. So, well, with that being said, is that she gave me the source, her paralegal, Kristen, and I said, oh, okay. So they said that you can go to Getty's Images. I said, oh, you can go to Getty's. And then I looked and I was like, well, I don't see Getty as saying that you can do this. Where is it? You can go on the website. I said, oh, okay. So I go on the website and I see my picture and I press on it. And then what do this picture says? This picture says you have to purchase a license agreement to take this picture. You have
use
to
it for whatever.
you you can't use it forever. You have to. They would have to ask you what you're using it for, and so you're not going to just get a license right off the bat.
Right.
That doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
So I said, wait a minute, and it has a price. I think it's $175, $375, and
For commercial, non-commercial, or
$4.99.
whatever
You gotta
it is.
pay.
Yeah.
You gotta pay.
Yeah.
And but if you see it as view and don't touch it, and you
What should you do? Take a screenshot?
you could take
or
a
something?
screenshot of it
Oh
and
my
don't
God.
pay and steal the picture. Well, that's exactly what happened. Attorney Jane Cotton stole my picture
Anderson County?
in Anderson County, stole my picture from Getty and edited. She edited the picture and screenshot it and used it against me in court to show that I was having a good time or I can afford to be somewhere else when, frankly, I didn't even pay for it.
Yeah.
I wasn't even the one that paid for it. So it was really interesting, but you tell my story or mislead the court by doing that. And if she wanted to acquire for a license, first of all, they would have asked you, what did you need it for? Mm-hmm. Second, they would have said, okay, for court proceedings, you would have had to submit some type of subpoena for discovery or something like that. You're going to have to do that. Interrogatories, interrogatories or production of documents.
Yeah,
you have to go through the formalities.
They're a major,
there's things you got to do.
Yeah.
Exactly. You want this, you got to do this. You got to follow this channel. And they would have sent them to the legal department. Well, of course, she knew that as attorney, and she didn't do that. So she thought better at, let me just steal the picture and use it for her gain. Well, she did. And the judge denied my continuance for my sister. And so because of that, my family, because my mom lived with me, and she's the one we need to get down there too. And they moved her service until Monday next week because I couldn't get down there. You believe this? I can't get down there. So I'm like, wow, this is interesting. And here's the thing about it. I filed a motion that said, listen, I'm going to, because now I had went on Jane Cotton's website, or I don't know if it's the website, actually is Yelp. I made a complaint so people could see this. You could see I put the pictures, I put the license up there that you wouldn't need one of these if you was gonna get a license, legally. You know what? And that's on Yelp, so you can go ahead and Google her. You'll find my review. Well, she filed to the judge, and this is William Byers Mark Dooley, and said that she wanted to put my pictures in a confidential area and take it from the public view. And she wanted to have them charge me $600 for her time to do this, because I called her several times. I told her I'm going to sue you because you stole my pictures illegally. And I said, I'm going to file a disciplinary action against you.
Yeah, and
I'm
have
going
Getty
to-
come after them.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, and I spoke to Getty, too. They're the one that they motivated. They
Yeah,
said,
they got the copyright.
oh, no. They said, oh, no, subpoenas will give you all confirmations who paying customers. And I said, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
But we know this is stalking from my ex-husband, because this is what I've been talking about, stalking. And so I have that working for me. So I said that, and she files to the judge, and the judge... She asks all these things, and for me to take the review off of Yelp in 24 hours and pay the $600 in 30 days. Basically, this is her proposed order. He put it in a confidential area, which now the public can't view it. Here's my disappointment in the judge, William Byers.
Wait, the Yelp review?
No, I didn't.
The picture.
The pictures. He didn't say take that down, which was interesting, because he said the pictures he allowed the pictures to go, and this just happened yesterday, allow the pictures to go into a confidential area that now you can't view those pictures publicly. Here's the problem with that. You got a judge covering up for a lawyer.
Yeah.
How am I, as a pro se litigant, could trust this lawyer, this judge after? And I got to see him on Friday. How am I going to trust him that he just now hid when she illegally stole my pictures and used it for, mental abuse, for her own gain, for her client?
Yeah.
And he knows she did wrong because, he didn't order me to take the
Copyright infringement is like pretty basic.
Infringement, but she's an attorney.
Yeah.
You are at a higher standard here.
Yeah.
But look what you're doing. Now you got a judge covering up for you. Now, that's the interesting part.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on now, presently. And when I say that the deception doesn't stop, and my ex-husband, frankly, I personally, but she got her name on it though.
Oh, yeah.
I personally think he wrote it. She put her name on it because he's attorney working. So it saved costs, Put your name in, I'll do it, it looks good in the legal judge.
Yeah.
And then he signed it. He's been getting judges in trouble for things. I mean, is another judge, like I said, Hamilton County, but he did some things to that judge and another lawyer. He put the names, and I did similar to the same thing that happened about 4 or 5 months ago. He wrote some things, and these 4 lawyers said that, hey, this was your ex-husband, but you let him use your name. So we made peace, but they had to do some things. Okay. And they got rid of him or whatever they did that, but it is what it is. But these lawyers are allowing him, to write this, but you're not checking his mental state of mind. Where he at to be writing this?
What's he doing this for? I mean, that's the thing. Is like
stalking me.
He needs to be in a
intimidating
facility
me.
or in jail.
You know what? I know there's some complaints against him right now, and I know that for a fact. There's at least 6 disciplinary actions against him. And his attorney, Mark Pizer, and now Jane Cotton. She has 2. I think 1 got dismissed, but now there's another one now that I just opened because I was like, okay, there's no way. Because she sent me a motion, and I said, wait a minute, she's ordering me for something she did. And she knows she don't even got confirmation. She don't have a license. She would have gave it to me.
Right.
We know. So you already showed guilt when you wanted to put in confidential area. I'm not a fool.
Yeah.
But this is the stuff that they allow to get away with. And as a pro se litigant, as a human person, a human being fighting this battle, I got to fight judges to do your job. And these are elected officials, which is like, do your job, but your job is not to be biased and to pick sides in that way. You're supposed to be partial. You're not supposed to do that. And I got to go to court on the 27th, knowing the fact that he just hid and covered the evidence, which still, don't get me wrong, it's already out there. He knows it's public.
Yeah.
So it's not like, but what you did as a judge, and I asked for 15 days to, write an objection because I'm dealing with my sister's death. And he just granted the petition of the 2 pictures. He didn't grant anything else. But that's not the point.
Right.
The point is she violated something. And why didn't you say that?
Right.
Because it evidently persuaded you when you seen the picture.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
That leads me to ask, because it's not persuasive at all, right? So there's something else that must be. I mean, this is, and I'm not asking you to respond to this. I'm saying, as hearing this, I'm like, there's got to be something else persuading him to do this because it's a very reasonable request. And then the fact that the counter was based on, this, one, you're allowed to be wherever you want to be when your sister passes, right? Yeah. You have no control over that. That doesn't do anything. And then, so why would you grant that unless there's something else, something other motivating factor? And as I said, I will.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll leave. I can only speculate. So and I know he liked to stick to the facts. So that is unbelievable, but also totally believable, unfortunately, because this is 15 years on, right?
Yep. Actually, 17.
17, okay.
Because, well, wait a minute. 16, because no drama for the first year, which my son was 1. But he's almost 18. So, yes, it's been a long time. We don't want to speculate, but to me, you've seen a picture. We're going for modification of child support is one of my motions. His reason to show cause after the fact. I'm not doing things willful. I have to take care of my elderly mom. My mom just happened to become this incompetent and things had happened. She, within the last 6 months, and I had to be the caregiver. She's lived with me. I'm the one anyway. She's been always lived with me. And I'm sitting here that picture persuaded this judge so much that, she could pay child support if she's out of town somewhere. You didn't even know what was going on. And it was a weekend, for goodness sake. I mean, 2 days, I cannot believe it was Saturday, Sunday, and we came back Monday. And I'm sitting here do you think caregivers don't get a break? What are you doing? Right. So that right there, you don't know nothing about caregiving, okay? But I know that persuaded the judge because I can't fathom a judge or anybody to say, no, you cannot, continue because you have a death in your family sudden. And I know any attorney would have been able to get that off the books real quick. Matter of fact, there was a situation that just occurred. And I know it was a case, another case that I know about. And they just asked for a continuance because medical reasons and his family. And boom, it was 4 or 5 months out there.
Yeah.
That's all that attorney needed to do.
This is not a major, also,
No.
it's not like it's criminal.
Not
you're
at all.
That's
you can look me up. I'm open book. And they have, because I got the little stalker.
Exactly.
So this is his thing. He's done this before.
Yeah.
He's done this before, show a picture, and this judge persuade himself. And he did it before, but this time I was like, we're going to see what's going on. But you mess with the wrong one because Getty don't play that because you're supposed to purchase a license.
Yeah.
And this is called copy infringement when you just go ahead, snap it. And now it's almost like a got you moment. Oh, yeah, and you think about next time when you start snapping and taking my pictures and stalking, you got to see why or pay for it. But she didn't do that. And here we are right now, and I've been going through it, and I don't see it stopping until these judges realize you need to do your job in a way that be unbiased to people like me and pro se litigants, and stop getting all this leeway to these attorneys because they're actually making you look bad. And right now, this judge looks bad because he's covering, and I'm gonna question him on Friday. I'm gonna ask, because I really think that either you continue, but how can I go forward when I don't even trust that you got my best interest as just a,
Clearly.
unbiased situation? How can you hear me right now when you just covered the evidence of the attorney, when she clearly broke copyright infringement?
She broke the law and as a lawyer,
lawyer.
You're being punished for it.
Yeah, and I'm being punished for it because you didn't give me a continuance. And it's I've never seen nothing like it. But like I said, I've seen a lot of things. I have a whole history of attorneys and judges doing a lot of bad things to me, writing things, false eviction, a judge telling you to go to their house and evict her. Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
People squeal on people when they get in trouble. I notice other attorneys are squealing. Oh, no, I didn't do it. He did it. I didn't do it. He did it.
Right.
It wasn't me. I mean, my ex-husband got away with, well, I don't know if he got away. The verdict is still on that because there's complaints out there. But, he's done so much stuff to my daughters. And these lawyers, I just don't understand why Attorney Jane Cotton from Anderson will put her name on that. And even though I have to blame her, because unfortunately her name is on it.
Yeah, she facilitated it.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
I mean, just taking a look at her website, I'll tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if that picture, I'm going to do some investigating on my own and see where she got that picture from. Because
exactly. You seen the picture? Yeah.
No, I mean just on her website. It's like, it's like a couch. And
yes. And if you go to the reviews on Yelp, you see me just highlighted right there. And I'm like, wow. And then you'll see some pictures of licenses. It's actually really 33 pages. I think I only put 16 on Yelp or Yelp, whatever it is. I'm sorry. I misspelled that Yelp because somebody told me about it.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. I didn't even really, I was like, oh, I don't know if I got any reviews on Yelp.
And it looks like that. I mean, honestly, it looks like ChatGPT made this website also. It doesn't look, this is not very professional, but
Yeah, and you start to think about the character of the person if you're going to do things, and then you start asking questions surrounding this kind of person.
Yeah.
And it's really terrible. So I tell people, go look her up on Yelp. Yeah. Go look her up because you'll
Facebook,
see.
She's on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she's got social media. And the thing about it, if this is how low she's going to go, well, I don't agree with it. And she's an attorney. She should know better. And I believe she's got in trouble some years back. She was suspended.
Was she really?
For talking to the judge. Outside of the work and about a client or something like that, or somebody's client or anything. It was something that she wasn't supposed to do, and she ended up getting maybe 30 days or 60 days or something like that. But you could look her up, and it just shows me that she has no problem talking to judges and, speaking about clients and stuff like that, and, a case or whatever outside of the court. So she's known to do stuff like this, and look what happened. The judge is covering her up, and I'm done with this. That's why I said, no, this is the best way I can fight, is to let these judges know this is not right what you're doing, and it's not acceptable.
Yeah.
It's not acceptable because I don't have much faith in the judicial system with that. Now, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of lawyers and judges that are good. So there's just as many out there, as many as probably bad ones. But I do know some, and I have to say, on the Dr. Meleeka Clary show, I interview a lot of good lawyers on my show. And, one of my best peers of the Dr. Meleeka Clary show, I always have her attorney, Kristen Serback. She's a really good attorney. She's a feisty one, and she's against this human rights. She's actually against the, abuse of, one's rights. That's what she is about. And she is, I want to say, a good civil rights leader. She's an advocate. As a matter of fact, I think I recommend her several times here. And she advocated for people even here in the Liberation Center. So yes, I utilized her, but there's so many more. And So it's not this bashing of lawyers and judges.
Right, of course, yeah.
I'm a paralegal. I'm a human rights activist, but I have to give you the good and the bad that when people abuse their power, this is what happens. And I'm a target because I know both worlds and I know what's going on. It's like, those are my peers too. So you want to manipulate me because of this and because of that, I'm supposed to be what? Quiet? I'm not going to be quiet for that, because one day I wanted to be a lawyer. I went to law school for about a year and I was going through a bad divorce. So I stopped and became a clinical psychologist. So at that time, my mental state of mind needed some check-in, you know what I mean? And doing that healed me and I loved it, so at that point, but you never know if I may go finish. But one time I did have that strong passion for the love of the law. But my fight was always to be pro bono. And for even clinical psychology, I'm pro bono. So it was never something I was going to make money with. I never thought about it. I wanted to fight, and I don't like that bargain thing all the time because it's a scare technique. Oh yeah, we're bargaining because you know what? They're gonna milk you all the money and then bargain at the end. Did you do it or did you not? Do you want me to fight?
Exactly,
I mean, let's really. I mean, I can believe in you, but is it something to believe in? I mean, what happened to the old argument? What happened to it? It's just bargain. Okay, but when financially broke now we can bargain. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I never liked that. I never liked that avenue. So with that being said, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Still fighting the good battle, but I'm utilizing my voice. I know people, I want you to always remember this. Even though I'm going through this, it's still worth the fight, because who will do it? If you don't fight, and even if it's one, eventually a union will come later, but you have to fight. So they let them know, stop doing what you're doing. It's not fair. It's cruel, and it's bullying in another fashion.
Yeah. It's a legal form of bullying, and they have been getting away from, I can tell you stories too about, the cases that have come in here, and it's just, the average person be like, are you kidding me? And it's like, we actually just got Lake County prosecutor Bernard Carter lying in a series of requests for evidence, right?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Requesting, first they tried to say that the evidence room burned down. Well, it turns out it didn't burn down. It was a little fire, right? So it wasn't destroyed. Mm-hmm. Then they came back and they said, the person was convicted without the DNA in the sexual assault kit, right? So therefore, it stands. The judge agreed with him. However, we have the original trial transcripts, and we have the nurse saying, "Yep, I administered it." We have the detective saying, "Yep, I picked it up." Right? So it's like, okay, you're just lying right now, and and I can say that because it's public record. We have the paperwork, right? We have the paperwork, and it's not going to be over. It's not over. But to see and you inspire others to fight, and not only on your behalf but also on their behalf, because they target you. And my guess is that this, I know that quote unquote attorney Jane Cotton.
Yes, Jane Cotton. Jane G. Cotton.
J.G. Cotton.
Just to be exact.
Oh, gosh.
Put the G in there.
Yeah, we'll just call her Cotton. Cotty. Yeah, so, white woman also, right?
Yeah, she's a Caucasian woman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, in this country, there's nothing at which race is invisible, right?
You know what? Yeah. It still exists. I mean, I can't say that I'm not being targeted as a, Black woman over there in Indiana, in Anderson.
Especially as an outspoken one.
Yes, exactly. I can't say that racism doesn't play in it. I just know gender may play in it, but I know occupation definitely plays in it because I'm not a lawyer. Mm-hmm. And that right there is discriminating because I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. And I would say this. I don't know where this judge went bad, William Byers and Mark Dooley. I will say they were good once upon a time until my ex-husband went and hired a woman that they know, or Good Old Boy Network, they know. Yeah. Then they didn't do their job anymore as being unbiased and fair because they were forced to be by the appellate court, they was forced to do the right thing because my case had got recommended to them when I got abuse of discretion removed from Hamilton County. Okay. That's what's really interesting. So they figure maybe now we don't have to be good because the appellate court ain't looking at us anymore. Now we could just go bad. Bad judges go bad. And that's what it seems right now, because I will say they never believed my ex-husband, didn't show it by paper. And now they're doing everything to break the law. And it just looks like that. It's like, okay, so even when I went for modification before, they want to put income on me when other people help, and you want to put income, show me wages, but you want to charge other people to say they have to pay my child support. I don't think so. That's not legal to do, to put me at a potential I didn't even make, and my ex-husband making over 100 figure, and and stop me from getting discovery from him. See? I've been going through this. It's so I'm like at a stop. Like there's things they just stopped me from doing, and it was like, what are you doing? But this is what I've been going through. But this time, putting a foot down. Why? Because you're hiding the evidence. You're hiding that she committed a crime. And even if she requested and you did it, but how did that look to the public?
I read that in a newspaper.
He just hit it, and it is going to be, because I don't plan to be quiet.
Yeah.
We're doing this thing. Yeah. I told her in that. If you look at in my if you look at the review on Yelp, I said I'm going to call I'm going to file a disciplinary action against you, and I'm going to sue you. And I already spoke to Getty, because they said they just subpoena a confirmation number that you don't have.
Yep.
And I'm also going to blast you on social media because this is what you did.
Yeah.
Simple as that. It is not defamation of character.
No, because it's fact.
True.
It's a fact. Exactly.
It's true.
These are all
Show
facts.
me that you bought my picture to abuse it and use it for your own personal gain for a step up.
Right. For a case that's basically meant to just like continue this like belittling of you and
right.
And just like a rich guy who's already got enough money, who's trying to get more that he didn't earn, and hurting the whole family. I mean, it makes me feel many things, but most of all, it makes me feel like, we're going to be there on Friday. So for those of you who are listening to this right now, it's Wednesday, March 25th. You'll likely be hearing this in about a week. And then in the next segment, we're going to have an update about this case. Yep. And we will also be joining Dr. Meleeka Clary in exposing these judges and these lawyers in every way that we can, because, the law is reactive, right?
That's right.
Like workers started striking, and then striking became legal. It's not as if the law was like, hey, now you can go on strike, and workers started striking.
That's right.
The law, it's really the people, in the courtrooms and in the streets that make history and that make changes. And so there's so many other things I want to talk to you about, like the Dr. Meleeka Clary show.
I know.
Please come back.
Yes, I have to.
We'll do a series,
Oh, yes, exactly. And, the Dr. Meleeka Clary show is a global show, everyone. You can just put the Dr. Meleeka Clary. You will find me on Roku and Fire TV and Apple Podcasts, everywhere. I mean, Spotify, all that, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube, yeah.
I am global with that show, and we talk about healing on that show.
Yeah, and you had Vernon T. Bateman on the show, and we really loved the approach that you took with him, because it wasn't just like, what are the facts of the case? What are the facts of the case? It was, it was about him as a whole human being. Right. And so we've talked about that a couple times. So I really recommend the show to everybody.
Thank you. And we had Stephen Lang and Riley on the show as well. And the show, it's really based on the identification of oneself. And yes, we could talk about the Dr. Meleeka Clary show. I love talking about that show. So we'll do that. We'll definitely do that.
All right. That sounds good. Well, thank you so much. It's really been an honor, to be able to amplify your voice and to join the chorus that you're leading. So, because we're all behind you. You got the whole Liberation Center behind you.
Well, you know what? I really appreciate it. I want to leave people with this. Do not be ashamed to utilize your voice for something you believe in. Don't let somebody silence you. Keep on moving. There's somebody else that would appreciate your fight.
That's looking at you. Yep, exactly. Yep. All right. Well, thank you again.
Welcome. Thanks.
All right. Well, after a short break, we will be right back. And we're back on Naptown People's Radio. So before we close up, Danny, who gets a Circle City shout out this week?
So today's Circle City shout out goes to Quill's Coffee Shop, where the workers were recently able to unionize. So the Indianapolis shop is at 9401 North Meridian Street. So, go check them out if you ever get a chance. And it is the only location outside of the Louisville area, which is where the shop originally started. So baristas were able to unionize with, Service Employees International Union Branch 32BJ SEIU. And the Quills workers in Indianapolis is really based on seniority. So they worked for longer breaks and paid family leave. Lead baristas will start at $13.50 an hour, which is significantly higher than minimum wage here in Indianapolis. And there are increases to $16 an hour in the second year of employment. So they now have 4 weeks of paid family leave, up to 3 paid shifts of bereavement leave for full-time workers, and 1 paid shift for part-time workers, 3 paid holidays when the shop is closed, and time and a half pay for baristas who, work during those holidays, time and a half for pay for daily overtime. So many accomplishments that, the baristas were able to earn themselves, as well as, future workers, which is amazing. Quills really reminds us of what the people can do when they come together and organize. This is a humongous win for the workers at Quills, but just like the people at large, there's so many different groups that are trying to unionize. I was just talking to one of my clients the other day about, their desire to unionize where they work, and just all of the different issues that they are having of trying to do that. We have comrades who are trying to unionize their workplaces. So, this is a win for all of us. This is so exciting to see this. So, this is something we can all strive for. So I just want to remind, listeners to organize your neighborhoods, organize your friends, organize your jobs. We can all make a change. So you just got to take a look around.
Yeah, thank you. And, it's also indicative of the growing support and sustained support for unions in the U.S., despite the, incredibly low density of unionized workplaces,
Yeah.
But as you're talking about, it's not just workplaces that need to be organized and unionized, right? Tenants unions, et cetera. So before we close out for the day, I want to call your attention to a couple of events we've got coming up at the center and nearabouts in the next couple of days. So first, as we to return to the beginning of this show, we are still calling on all of our supporters and listeners to conduct the phone email zap to Miami Correctional Facility. And on last week's episode, you heard from dispatches from behind the wire, somebody bring to light the situation, and we, been assured that the ombudsman is going to be making an appearance, but that is not an assurance unless we make it so. So please, call and email. Anytime between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. We have a list of targets on the IndyLiberationCenter.org website. And then on Thursday, 6 p.m. at the Liberation Center, we will be hosting a press conference with the family who suffered tremendous losses, really, and injustice at the hands of the IMPD this past week. And finally, we have several events happening at the center this week. Of course, we have open hours. The Indy Liberation store is open Thursday through Saturday, 12 to 6, and later when there's programming, and Sunday from 1 to 6. And you can definitely, we expect you to be here first Friday with something called Exploring the Extremes with Sammy Penazzola. So these are powerful artistic works, a unique expression that really takes you on a visceral journey into the depths of, the human spirit, the human mind, that are not only about his own psyche, but, they're figural paintings that really kind of resonate with everybody. And, he was born in Los Angeles, but has been in Indy since 2006. And he's, painted public murals throughout the city in partnership with, Big Car Collaborative. And really his art explores the whole spectrum of human emotion. So again, that's First Friday, April 3rd, 6 to 9 p.m., right here at the Indianapolis Liberation Center. The next morning, you have Circle City Sangha, 9:30 to 11 a.m. And then we have our third Pedagogy of the Oppressed study group. We'll be covering chapters 2 through 3, which is where we really get into the thick of it. They, really begin to bring out various particular conception of education and liberatory dialogue and how the strategy of problem posing relates to the struggle against oppression. And ultimately, how his view of education, whereby we, quote, come to feel like masters of our thinking by discussing the thinking and views of the world explicitly or implicitly manifest in our own suggestions and those of our comrades, end quote. And then Sunday, we have Emancipatory Yoga, 6 to 8 p.m., so be sure to come by for that. And that's it for this episode of Naptown People's Radio. If you found today's discussion useful, pass it on, leave a comment, and wait for our next episode to drop. Support us at support.naptownpeoplesradio.com and by shopping at the Indie Liberation Store, either in person at the store or online at indieliberationstore.com. If you have a suggestion for the show, please email our producer at naptownpeoplesradio.com. The road ahead is long, but we walk it together. Study with your comrades, build with your community, and always remember, theory without action is paralysis, but action without theory is chaos. Once again, I'm your host, Derek Ford, here with my comrade and co-host,
Danny Abdullah.
Stay dangerous, stay disciplined, and stay in the struggle.
We say all power to the people. That means that we are our own liberators. We don't depend on nobody else. We depend on ourselves. And we take responsibility for ourselves. And therefore, we step up for our organization. Those that have proven by their actions and their practice that they represent for us. All power to the people and peace.
Collaboration. Like, we act as if there's a scarcity of rights. If gay people get rights, women can't have rights. But that's not true. A victory for one is a victory for all. As Dan's just saying, And
you talk about people being fearless in the face of whoever there is. They don't care. To the Liberation Center, I would say, this is what we need.